a world where audience engagement is paramount, discover how ECamm's revolutionary simulcasting capabilities can flip the script on live streaming, literally. From unlocking the untapped potential of YouTube's vertical and shorts feed to effortlessly bridging the gap between horizontal and vertical platforms. We are about to explore how to conquer both horizontal and vertical feeds like a boss across platforms.
Welcome to Content Creators Connect. Here we are all about encouraging the 3 C's: connecting with others via video, content development that builds your personal brand, and we are creators sharing our experiences despite our distance.
And the C3 team member leading this evening is Dori, known to everyone as DSpence, using her superpowers to install confidence in those around her and helping others become experts in their own adventures.
So, I have a question for you guys as I'm literally staring at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens right now. Who has ventured into the wild world of vertical format live streams? And have you been brave enough to try your hand at simulcasting yet? Let's hear about your tales from the digital frontier. We're going to go to Manny first.
Thank you so much, Dori. I'm really excited about what you're going to bring tonight, and I have no clue what you're going to be talking about. But the fact that you're talking about vertical format live streams, I'm excited about because I am trying to learn, as you know, to do widescreen and the vertical format at the same time. So, yes, I have dove into the world of vertical live streaming on Instagram as a test. And I've messed up each time because of I only had my format ready from widescreen, and once it goes over to Instagram, it's in vertical format. So yes, I have started, testing the waters, but I've not done anything that I can say I'm ready to run with. And so when it comes to simulcasting, now when you're saying that, does that mean like on multiple different platforms? Yeah, I
It
do. That's what I
does.
thought
Yeah.
it was. I do that literally every day. So yes, to answer that
It's
question, what about you, Kevin?
Well, I have sort of delved into the vertical live stream just right from the Instagram app itself and from Facebook itself, but not as opposed to any kind of show. It's just more like a live daily vlog type of thing. That's how I've sort of done the vertical. But I haven't actually used any software to combine vertical and landscape types of shows. So I'm very curious about what Dori has to share with us tonight, and so excited because she's diving into the ECamm world, and me being a PC user, I'm learning everything like from scratch when you're talking about ECamm. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. And if this is the type of content you like to see more of, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the little notification bell. That way you get to know whenever we go live.
Okay. If you guys could even remotely see what my desk and what is in front of me looks like right now, in addition to my stream deck and actually running our live stream, you may in fact just give me a little attaboy. Just throwing that out there. You might give me a little bit of an attaboy. Um, I wasn't fishing. I promise I wasn't fishing. I'm literally just checking right now to see if in fact, our content is simulcasting the way I'm hoping it is. And so I'm just going to double check and see. if she's there. She's there. All right. I'm very excited. Oh, Vandy's got me. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close out of this so that I don't totally stress my network here. So really quick, before I dive into some of the demonstration stuff, and you might be wondering why I have some additional equipment in my scene here. I want to talk a little bit about why the idea of simulcasting might be something you as a content creator want to consider. So first of all, Manny asked a great question in his opening statement, wondering exactly what exactly do you mean by simulcasting? Well, simulcasting actually considers two things together. So the idea of simulcasting is sending your broadcast out simultaneously to multiple locations. Now, those locations can be different social media platforms, like, for example, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know. Can you live stream to TikTok? I'm not a TikToker, so I don't know. So the idea of sending a broadcast simultaneously to multiple locations. But in addition to that, the idea of sending the broadcast to multiple locations within one platform is really something that I have been incredibly interested in. And in addition to everything else, my aunt is also calling at the same time. Wow. As if one other thing could be happening on this live stream. So I started down this rabbit hole of being able to figure out how to do a horizontal stream and a vertical stream at the same time. Initially, my thoughts were to try it for YouTube purposes. And the reason I wanted to do that was because I thought I could repurpose my content for things like YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels. And so ECamm has been a wonderful resource for me. As you guys know, I have talked about ECamm oodles of times in the past. ECamm allows you the ability to ISO record multiple cameras and audio inputs. And I initially thought, oh, well, if I set up a secondary camera in portrait mode, I would be able to record both and then have two separate outputs. Unfortunately, that experiment did not work. So fast forward to a plugin that OBS put out, which had everybody in the content world all abuzz. And the idea of being able to stream a horizontal image and also send a separate feed to a vertical feed with a different layout caused everybody to start like, how can we do this? So the idea behind it is for us as content creators to be able to engage our audience with the most up-to-date methods out there, to give the audience what they want in terms of a user experience. There are a lot of people that view content on vertical platforms like Instagram or even just from YouTube on your phone in a vertical format. And so I started thinking about how to increase reach, how to grow your audience, how to increase engagement, and all of these things culminated in this test run that we are about to do tonight. So let me push forward with this. And I don't know what is going on, but my phone is literally blowing up right now. I really hope that everything is okay. So sorry, I'm a little disheveled with all these calls that are forcing themselves in
Maybe
here.
take it.
If they call back again, I will.
We'll take over, right, Kevin?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let me go to a screen that has hopefully my head at the top and my MacBook Pro screen in a camera on the bottom. Now, if you're watching from a vertical feed, you will not see my co-hosts on either side. You will only see the center of the scene. And the reason being is I wanted to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit and show you how exactly I accomplished this dual live stream that we have going on tonight. I don't think we're actually live on Instagram because I think I accidentally closed the tab and I messed that up. So that's okay. That's a trial for another time. But just to show you guys what's happening here, I have ECamm open on my MacBook Pro. And what I have done was I have gone into the camera settings in ECamm on the MacBook Pro, and I have selected my Mac Mini as the camera source. And in addition to that, if you guys can see my audio bar right here, you can also see that my audio is coming in through my Rodecaster Pro, through my ECamm production, which is happening on my main studio machine, my Mac Mini. Okay, my Mac Mini is the one that has my Sony camera hooked up, my teleprompter, all of the monitors and everything else hooked into it. And so what I had to do on the main, let me move this mouse out of the way and take this mouse instead. What I had to do on the main production was send an output from this production to my other machine using NDI. You can also use cables to do it, but I did not want to reroute my entire table in the event that we will be able to do this from one machine, hopefully in the near future. So Ken and Glenn, the founders, co-founders, brothers of ECamm, have been working on figuring out a solution to this because, as we mentioned, OBS has a plugin that allows you to do this from one machine. vMix has the ability to send both a vertical and a horizontal stream out to multiple locations, all from the same machine. So it makes sense that ECamm will be the next to be able to do this, which just makes my heart a flutter. As it stands right now, for the Mac users out there that are using ECamm, this is the method that you have to do, unfortunately, which creates a little bit of a backlog, a little bit of a struggle. Number one, you currently have to have two machines to make this happen. Number two, you have to be confident enough in your network and your wireless capabilities to trust that your streams are not going to glitch and the connection between your two computers is not going to break on you. And so with all that being said, I want to just take a minute to have you guys be able to see from the horizontal stream. If you take a look at my monitor down here in the lower portion, that is exactly what anyone watching on the vertical feed can see. They can see me as a floating head on the top, and then they can see the example of my MacBook screen on the bottom. And so for the purposes of a demonstration like this, that is ultimately what your audience will need to see as they're hearing you give the explanation. So I want to just focus on a couple things. Number one, why go through this effort? Well, I already talked about audience and user experience. And so we as content creators have to make sure that we are taking into account the needs of those who spend their time with us. And for many, that means if they're on their phone, they have to turn us sideways. And that's not really very beneficial or ergonomic if you're just sitting and scrolling. Secondly, little hack here. Doing a vertical stream to YouTube gives you the ability to show up in the YouTube vertical feed. In addition to that, there is a chance that you will also show up in the YouTube Shorts feed. Now, a couple things to point out. there is a different audience. I think we as content creators have to admit that there is a different audience that surfs the vertical videos and does the swiping versus those that specifically tune in for our long format and horizontal live streams. So we have the potential right now to be reaching people that have never seen our channel before and have no idea what our content is about. And I think that as a growing channel, as a content creator, I think it's really important that we are always striving to get our message to new people. The algorithm is a little bit different with the vertical feed and the shorts. Now, if someone comes across this video as they're scrolling through the shorts feed in particular, they're going to see something a little bit different. They're going to see just a snippet of this video. They're going to see a quick preview of it. And in addition to that, they're going to see the ability there will be a button on the screen that says watch live, which will then move them from the shorts feed to the live vertical feed on YouTube. They cannot engage with the stream from the shorts feed, but they can engage with it from the vertical feed. I know that sounds a little wonky and it might be a little bit confusing, but if you think about it in terms of, this is the analogy I came up with today. The shorts feed is like a commercial. And if you consider the shorts to be a commercial for your longer, more in-depth content, whether you're producing those shorts and pushing them out on a scheduled basis, or you're sending your vertical live stream there, the person who's looking at your short has the ability to decide if they want to dig deeper into your content, if they want to subscribe to your channel. And so for me, having a preview of a live show up in a shorts feed with the ability right there at their fingertips to push the button and bounce them over to join the live, I think that's an amazing way to incentivize people, to advertise your content, let people get to know you a little bit, dip their toes in the water, and then decide if they want to join you on your journey. And so for me, that was really the ultimate reason I wanted to do this test. First of all, a little bit of a, can I do this? A little bit of a personal challenge. Can I make this happen? But then on top of it, the doors and the possibilities that this can open are just absolutely, positively insane. And so for me, the exact method of doing it, using ECamm currently, just a quick review for those that are wondering if they can accomplish this, you can. Caveat number one, you must have 2 computers, 2 Macs available that you have ECamm loaded on. Number 2, you have to have the ability to send the output via NDI from your main computer to your secondary source, which for me is my MacBook Pro. And then on the MacBook Pro, all I simply did was I changed the stream from wide 16:9, which is what you're seeing here, to tall 9:16, which is what you're seeing on my Mac in vertical format. The reason you cannot do both right now in ECamm is even if I had a camera off to the side that was turned and it was recording me in portrait mode, at the base level, the broadcast has to be determined in ECamm whether it is wide, tall, or square. So that is what the guys at ECamm, the master brains behind this amazing software, are working on right now. The ability to split and pick 2 different live stream formats and send a signal out to both at the exact same time. But for now, this is the workaround. And I have to say, I'm pretty excited to go back and check it out and see what it looks like and see what it sounds like from the vertical feed. So I just wanted to do a quick, we lost Manny. we, if you're on the vertical, you can't tell that. But if you're on the horizontal, you can tell. We lost Manny there for a moment. But I just wanted to take a minute and just reiterate that as content creators, I think it's always important that we are pushing ourselves beyond what we believe we can do. A, for the betterment of ourselves, B, for the betterment of our content, and C, and absolutely the most important thing is the betterment of our audience. And so this was a personal test to see if I could do it and to show the audience that yes, we can grow, we can reach new people, even just by making some small tweaks to our live stream setup. So for me right now, what that means is having a Mac on my desk, having a secondary camera set up to grab this screen and being able to push the feed out. Next time I do this, I promise, also figure out how to send this puppy out to Instagram without accidentally closing the window. But hey, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to slide this over, and I have to ask the gentlemen what they think about the look of it, what they think the ramifications are of this, and honestly, if you could see yourself implementing this in any way, shape, or form in your own live streaming journey. And so with that, I think we should bounce it on over to Manny first.
100% I'm gonna be doing this. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And you really made that look so simple. I gotta say I had the same hiccup with Instagram, so I actually know why you didn't go live. And so like that was when I first did it, I did that exact same thing. So I know exactly. I will definitely be utilizing this. I love how you set up the middle. So it's like regardless of where you're watching the format at. Now with YouTube, if I'm correct, right now we only have it in vertical format.
Nope,
Right?
we have 2 streams going simultaneously on YouTube. So our
Okay, I
regular
couldn't find that one.
followers can see us. It's called The Future of Live Streaming, ECamm's Simulcasting Mastery. I changed the titles a little bit
Gotcha. I
so
love it.
that
Yeah.
we could differentiate between the two. Please tell
That
me
makes sense.
that
I see it now.
they're
I
both
only
there.
saw one
Okay.
of them, the vertical, but
Okay.
now I see. So that's phenomenal. Like you killed it, Dori. I don't know if you were just like, I know Manny wants this. I need to get this out there. You killed it. So I love it. Thank you so much. Kevin, what about you? Do you see yourself utilizing both of these ways? I know you go live all the time.
Yes, absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful sort of the mindset of why you're doing this. It's great because in our streams you can actually have view up top and do a demo at the bottom, which is great. And then if you're wanting to cut that information out specifically afterwards to reuse your content, boom, it's going to take a picture of the middle of your screen by default. So you don't even have to go and change the formats like using Opus to do 2 screens. You can actually just use the one and boom, it's cut right there. So it's less editing on your end, so saving you more time once again. So definitely I am going to be using this. As I am a vMix user, I need to get on the horse now and figure out how to do it on vMix for myself. So once again, wonderful, wonderful content, Dori. I know there's going to be a lot of questions from people on, but how did you do it? It's like, I see it, but how do you do it?
So I didn't really want to get into I didn't want to get too technical because I feel like sometimes when people see something really cool, their initial instinct is actually, I can't do it. And so when they start seeing things like, cables and things like that, they start to get a sense of overwhelm. Maybe that's the teacher in me where I kind of want to just, dribble stuff in. And so basically, it really doesn't require, if you do it exactly the way that I did it, it does not require any additional cables running to your computers. Now what I did was I plugged my Mac into my network access, so that nothing's running off Wi-Fi. Everything's running off of my network. That's just good practice when you're streaming. Even when I only would use my MacBook Pro, I would still make sure that I was connected to the Ethernet when I was streaming. So that was the additional cable that I added. That's it. And everything else was done behind the scenes from the design standpoint, developing this so that I could, stack on top of each other. And then the only other thing that I did to modify for tonight is I just changed up our comment so that it fit within the screen. Obviously, if you're going to do this long term, you're going to want that text to be a larger size so that it fills more of the space vertically so people could read it. But I just played around with that a little bit. But from a standpoint of connections, ECamm is so intuitive that if you have it running on both machines, it finds it. All I did was in ECamm, I went to output specifically, and I went to NDI output, and I turned it on. And then on my MacBook Pro, when I opened ECamm, I went to camera, and in the camera settings, as you guys could see, DSpence Mini, ECamm Live in parentheses, showed up as a source. And it brought that, and it brought in my audio from my Rodecaster Pro, which is all coming through my professional grade equipment, my mic and my camera here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move over to this scene, and we'll take a look at some questions here. Sorry, I'm just making sure that I have everything up where I'm supposed to.
While you're talking there, I'll ask you a question sort of to kick things off is,
Go ahead.
in terms of programming and scheduling on the YouTube, because now I've actually gone over and I saw the two streams, so I have both the landscape and the vertical up.
Okay.
How does YouTube figure out it's a vertical versus a landscape, and how can you actually schedule two to go live at the same time?
So basically, I'll address the first question. So I have no idea. I have no idea how, but I know that YouTube has something in its AI that recognizes a vertical video versus a horizontal. It recognizes that it's 9:16 and it automatically filters it into that vertical feed. And because it's in the vertical feed, it's going to be previewed in the shorts feed.
Okay.
So it's something on the back end of their software that they recognize the type of video that's pulling in. I didn't have to tell YouTube that the secondary stream was a vertical stream. It just automatically recognized that.
So essentially, you just scheduled both of them as the same, but one was a vertical source and one was a horizontal source.
Correct. Now, to answer your second question, what I did there was, I'm just scrolling down to check something. What I did there was I purposely created the streams with similar but not exact titles. And so for me, what I did was the secondary video that I scheduled from my MacBook Pro, I started with the word vertical. So that was a clue for me that was the vertical stream. But it's a very similar vibe to the title. So what I did was our normal stream, for those that don't know, we use Restream to schedule our weekly Sunday night streams. And each of us have a certain amount of channels that we push out to, and then we share the link. So I scheduled our normal horizontal widescreen in the same way that I do every other week via Restream. And then what I did was on my MacBook Pro, ECamm also gives you the ability to schedule streams to multiple locations and multiple platforms. And so what I did there was I scheduled a stream to start 2 minutes after our normal stream. And then I set it up to go to our C3 YouTube channel, and I had attempted to send it to Instagram next time. And then that is creating its own stream from this version of ECamm that's running on my MacBook, and it is sending that out to YouTube. So my main computer is streaming via the Restream connection. My MacBook Pro is streaming via the schedule that I did directly inside ECamm. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely, it does. Thank you.
Good,
That
good.
does clarify it. And I
Good.
did have another question as well that I never did type in there, is because you were saying to be very considerate of your network limitations as well. And I'm
Right.
wondering, what is your, like, are you finding that your machines there are straining with your network connectivity at all?
Not at
Are
all.
they sort of
Nope.
fighting for
I don't know
bandwidth?
if anybody there saw any glitches, but I have not seen any hiccups. I do notice that there is maybe a 1 second lag between the two streams. I don't know how that's going to play into the audio. So I'll be curious to see that on the replay to make sure that my voice and mouth match up on the
Yeah.
vertical one, because I never have any issues on the regular one with any kind of lag or anything like that. So I just want to take an opportunity really quick here and scroll down through the rest of the comments and see. Kevin, you make a really good point. I also want to test the new comment that I put in the vertical. If they see a quick snippet on YouTube, make sure it is visually engaging. Absolutely 110%, which is why it is still recommended that you use some sort of overlays, some sort of visual enhancement, even if it's an animation or something like that, to draw the viewer's attention in. If you notice, my screens did not fill in all of it. You could still see a little bit of our background behind it, and I did that on purpose. And yep, you mentioned right now for ECamm, we absolutely have to have two computers running for the platform for this current setup to work. But I am very confident that in the future, we're not going to need two machines to make this happen with ECamm. And then baby steps, as long as they are moving forward. I think, Kevin, that goes for absolutely everything that we do as content creators. And I think those are incredibly wise words to end on. So my question to both of you gentlemen is, do either of you have any last parting words before I wrap this up for tonight?
I do have a quick question. Your output on the NDI output, was it 1080 that you did it at?
I
The
did it at
maximum?
1080. Yes, yep.
Is it because the
Yep.
video was going to be 1080 or you just would default to that?
So video NDI maxes at 1080, and we do not stream in 4K because it's, in my personal humble opinion, it's not necessary for this type of stream. We're not doing graphic animations. We're not teaching, art or things that need that finite level of accuracy. So 1080 is what we stream at. So I have no issues pushing out the secondary stream at 1080 as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
You are welcome. So if you are interested in using ECamm, maybe you're not ready to simulcast yet. Maybe you don't have that second machine, but if you're interested in checking out ECamm, I would strongly encourage you to look at a video that I did. Oh my gosh, it was way back in October of 2022 at this point, and ECamm is constantly making amazing updates to its software. It was entitled 3 Tips for Using ECamm Live for Solopreneurs like myself. Hopefully one of the guys can drop the link in the comments below. But with that being said, I think I'm going to send it on over to the guys. If I can find my button on my screen.
My friends, that was some amazing content. I know I'm going to go back and watch and learn. And if this is the type of content that you enjoy, we would find it. If you'd like, oh my gosh, I am losing my words. But if you enjoy content like this and you're finding it useful, we would love it if you'd like and subscribe. Sharing our content is also a great way to spread the love as to what we're doing here. And you can visit our website for all the information on different ways that you can connect with us right there on your screen, linktree/content creators connect. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And hey, be sure to drop down into the comments below and let us know what kind of content that you would like to see in the future, and we would be happy to share that with you.
All right. Thank you for joining Content Creators Connect, aka C3, tonight as Dori demonstrated vertical and horizontal simulcasting using ECamm. So, next Sunday, we will be taking it off to celebrate the holiday with our families. So, we will return in 2 weeks. Remember, 2 weeks on Sunday, April 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern, where I will be talking about more AI goodness with Microsoft Copilot. I'm sure we've talked about that quite a bit, and you may have heard a bit more outside of our streams. So make sure to join us in 2 weeks, and we will be multicasting to YouTube, Facebook, and X. So make sure to come and join us. Until then, we urge you to identify and lean into your 3Cs. Start today creating unique content that builds connections and breaks down those barriers. See you in 2 weeks.
See you next time. Thank you for joining.
Bye.